Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about volume of prisms. So we just finished talking about surface area of prisms, and now we're going to be talking about volume of prisms. So what you're going to need is a pen or a pencil, notebook, and calculator as usual. Okay, so in the last video we talked briefly about what a prism is. So we're just going to revisit that really quickly. So the definition of a prism is a 3D object that has two faces and n number of rectangular sides. So prisms are named after their bases or faces. So we had this picture last time. So a prism, remember, is basically just a 2D shape, and then the third dimension is added with height. And so when we say n number of rectangular sides, it's because it depends on what the shape of the bottom is. So if we look at the triangular prism, it has 1, 2, 3 rectangular sides. But if we look at the octagonal one, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rectangular sides. And then, of course, the shapes that are opposite each other that are the same, like the two triangles here or the two squares, those are the faces or the bases is what they're called. But yeah, that's what a prism is. So this video is going to be focusing on volume. So what is volume? Volume is the amount of space that it takes to fill the entire inside of a 3D object. So that's the definition. So what does that mean? Well, if you think about, like, if you have a glass and then you're going to fill it with water, volume is how much water did it take to fill the inside of that glass. Or if you have a box and you're going to fill it with packing peanuts, how many packing peanuts did it take to fill the inside of that box? So volume is three-dimensional or measured in cubic units. So when you see this little blue picture right here, it's how many cubes can fit into that rectangular prism. Or if you look at here, like if you have one circle, how many slices up does it make to fit inside of this cylinder, right? So maybe these are all concepts that you've understood already about what volume is. So the formula for volume is length times width times height. So when we find volume, we're actually going to multiply those three dimensions together. So when we found area of like a rectangle, it was just length times width. But now that we have that third dimension of height that we're looking for, because we want the space inside of the shape, we're going to take the length times the width times the height. So that's what our little formula is right there. So then let's go through three examples. And these are the same three shapes as the surface area ones, but now we're going to be finding the volume, okay? So remember that volume is length times width times height. And so this is our length, this is our width, this is our height. So we're just going to multiply those three numbers together. 6 times 3 times 4. So 6 times 3 times 4, and I'm going to make sure I'm doing this correctly, should be 72 centimeters, and this is where the cubic units comes in, centimeters cubed, because volume is three-dimensional. Okay? All right, number 2, we're going to find the volume again. So this is our length, this is our width, and this is our height. So volume is going to be 10 times 3 times 4. So volume should be 10 times 3 times 4 is 120 inches cubed. And then the last one should be, this is our length, this is our width, and this is our height. So volume is length times width times height, so it's going to be 3 times 6 times 2. So 3 times 6 times 2, and our calculator tells me is 36. 36 feet cubed. So if you've noticed, volume is so much easier to solve for than surface area. It's not as much work, and it's just one kind of step. You just multiply all the three numbers that are given to you. So hopefully you can differentiate between surface area and volume and what those two things are. So make sure you have the formula, length times width times height, written somewhere in your notes so that you can use that formula in your homework and later in class. Okay, that's all I have for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, have a great day.